happening, guys? Big welcome to the channel. Tokimotive, Toki being a nickname, and automotive, I kind of melded it together to get the name. Obviously first video, so I'm a bit awkward. I don't quite know what to do with my arms yet, but seeing as Brisbane just got thrown into a bit of a lockdown, 3 days, I thought I'd take the time to try and clean this thing up, seeing as I've spent the last year just absolutely beating on it, trying to get as much seat time as possible, and the exterior's kind of taken a dive and it's not looking very good anymore. The idea is I'm going to attempt to recover some of the sun damage on the paint. So I'll take it out, I'll give it a bath with some dishwashing liquid, get rid of any of the wax that I can, and then I'll bring it in and try out a few different polishes I've got here and see what can actually bring it back and stuff like that. The original plan for my first video was to go to a meet in the city, but that got canned. So hopefully we got on top of it quick and we'll be able to start doing meets and going to track days and stuff like that soon, and all the rest of it. So I'll warm this thing up, take it out, and we'll give it a bath and we'll get into it. Alright, so got her out on the basketball court. We're all ready to give it a clean. Basically what I'm going to do is your basic 2-bucket wash, soapy bucket and a rinsing bucket. That way you're not putting the dirt straight back on the car after you wash it off. Got a basic super cheap auto mitt, and rather than use the Bowden's wash wax, the stuff that smells like bananas, which is it's got a lot of wax in it. It puts a nice coating on the car, but the whole point is to get rid of it all. I'm just going to use some cheap dishwashing liquid and that should sort it out, and then we'll take it in and give it a polish. So I'll chuck it on a time lapse. So I found a couple of different polishing compounds sitting in the shed, because I don't really want to go anywhere at this point, just to play it safe. If I get sick, I don't get to go to work, and if I don't go to work, I don't make money. I found an old polishing wheel for the drill, but I've since lost the attachment, so we're basically just going to chuck a bolt through it with a couple of washers, tighten it down and grind a couple of notches into it for the drill to grip onto. But I'm going to have a go at polishing it with just the microfiber cloth first. That might be enough. It might take forever, so I might just want to get the drill onto it and go slow and try not to burn through the paint. But the polishes that I've come up with from having a little look around is I've got Autosol aluminium polish, which probably not going to be great for the paint, but I'll see how it goes. I'll do a small test patch, and an old tube of Paint Doctor. So I've heard this stuff's pretty good. My partner's used it on her cars before and it's done well for them, so we'll see how it goes. I'll make this little thing up. I would give it something a little bit a little bit more grip. And yeah, I'll probably I'll do a couple of test patches, and then if it's working well, I'll freeze on time lapse and I'll try to clean up the side of it. Alright guys, so essentially what I'm trying to repair is particularly this bit across the top of the doors here. As you can see, it's looking, the sun has definitely taken its toll on it. It's a little bit up towards the top of the doors as well. And it's mainly just this side. This is where it used to sit parked. The sun had always hit this side. So I'm going to clip his down here. I'm going to have a little crack at it with the paint doctor. So far it's definitely not as rough, but you can probably even hear the difference on the camera. But I think it's going to take a hell of a lot more effort than I really want to do by hand, so we'll give the drill a go. FYI, I have no idea how to polish it. Perfect, but it definitely helped. Like, it can't really help if the clear coat's gone, but the rest of it, I think that might actually come up alright. Well, my chuck is on a time lapse and we can see how it looks from start to finish. I'll show you a bit of a close up first. So yeah, it's that as opposed to that. So it'll definitely make it look a little bit cleaner, so we'll see how it turns out. Alright guys, so it's the next day. I decided to call it quits for the night. Basically what I'm going to do this afternoon is I'm going to have a go at cleaning up there's a patch on the bonnet I want to clean up. See if we can bring a bit of shine back into that. Obviously it's never going to look pretty, it's missing paint and all the rest of it, but I just don't want it to look so dull. And then basically, I'm probably going to go give it a wash while we've still got some light and tackle attempting to clean all this, because I had a little fire on the way to Esk. If you're on my Instagram, I mentioned it. The temporary wire for the fuel pump setup earthed out, and yeah, didn't have a fuse on it because it was only there temporary, and yeah, I was lucky my partner had the extinguisher straight into my hand before the car even stopped, and I could get straight on it before it actually started burning up underneath the dash. But because it was behind kick panels and stuff, I couldn't see where it was, so I just banned the fire extinguisher everywhere, and now I got a hell of a mess to clean up. But anyway, I'll do a short fast forward bit of polishing that bit on the bonnet, and then go out and give it a wash that'll actually make it look good, and then see how I'm going to get this stuff out of the carpet. I'm going to have a little experiment with the auto sole, because I didn't yesterday. If it ruins the paint on this bonnet, that's okay, because in the future I plan to respray it when I install my vents in the side. I'm going to have a go at doing a real budget vent setup. I did it on an old bonnet I've got where I just kind of cut louvers into it, but this I want something that's a little bit, looks a bit nicer for the street. Now that I'm living down in the city, I don't want to draw too much attention, and I had people messing with boost controllers through it, but that's definitely a video that'll come in the future, because I did a bit of research finding where the airflow is, where the low pressure point is, so that you can set your vent there to get all the temperature and hot air out of the engine bay, which heat soak's a big issue with drifting, as we all know, so keep an eye out for that one in the future. But I'm going to chuck his on a fast forward and see what we can do with this bonnet. Alright guys, so I went ahead and did a couple little test patches to compare the auto sole and the paint doctor, and I think the paint doctor wins, which pretty much expected anyway. But now I'll chuck you up on this little stand. I'd call that polishing a bit of a success. Looks a hell of a lot better. So, might take it out and I'll give it a proper bath, and we'll pack this extinguisher dust. See what we can do there. Alright guys, we're burning through daylight because I can't help myself but do a nice little character check. Just going to give it a proper wash with the bout and stuff, and we'll see how it goes. I guess the answer of can you polish a turd? Yes, you can. But is it really worth it? It's kind of still a turd. It's better. It's definitely better. At the end of the day. We talked about how the exterior had taken a dive because I was just focused on getting seat time. What's taken a dive even more would be the interior. Heaps of missing panels. Extinguisher dust everywhere. More missing panels. Dash mat nearly flew out the window at QR. All stuff that sort of needs to be caught up on. guys, well that's the wagon cleaned up outside and inside. I haven't done the engine bay, but at least I got rid of all that fire extinguisher crap in there, so I won't be breathing that every time I drive because that was getting real annoying. This little wire here, one wire nearly cost me the whole damn car. Always put a fire extinguisher in your car. But if you've stayed to the end of the video, thank you very much. Obviously it's only early things and I'm learning. I've just been experimenting a little bit on this video, but as it goes on, I'm gonna get better. I didn't want to start out my first video on something too full on, too exciting, something that I'm gonna want a nice quality video for. So this is kind of like my trial run. But yeah, if you've hung around to the end, thank you very much. Like, subscribe if you want to see more, and there'll be much more exciting stuff coming in the future.